Let's understand what is a software. So software is nothing but a set of instructions. We can say operating system. It forms an interface between the computer and the user. So what is assembly language? It means like even it is a low level language, but the information will not be there in terms of zeros and ones. Memory management, allocate and take memory from the running process. Hello everyone. I welcome you all to the third session of first PU Computer Science. So yes, we are discussing with respect to the chapter 1, that's Introduction to Computer Systems. So yes, under that chapter, this is a last session. So yes, I just request all of you to just go back and see those 3 videos. Yeah, we have already recorded the day 0 video wherein you'll be having the complete overview of this first PU Computer Science. And next, in the first video, that's day 1, you'll be having the introduction to this chapter, that's Introduction to Computer Systems. Then up next, we'll be having the next session, which we have done, the one which is before this. And now this is the third session. My name is Deepa. I'm assistant professor working under Department of Computer Science, Vidhyaashram, Temple of Excellence, Mysore. So yes, let's move forward with today's session. That's the session 3. Yeah, this is what we had discussed in our last session. Like we had discussed regarding the data transfer between CPU and the memory, and then we had discussed what is microprocessor, what is microcontroller, and the difference between this microprocessor and microcontroller. And then we had also discussed the data as well as the information, like what data and information are both same or is it different. So yes, if you want that information, you have to go back and check that video. Yeah, all right, so let's move with today's session. We'll be discussing about software, the different types of software. So yes, under that different types of software, we have multiple subdivisions. So we'll be learning about that, and then we'll be learning about the proprietary or free as well as the open source software. So what is that open source software and what are the examples for that? All these things we'll be discussing. And up next, we'll be also discussing about the operating systems. So yes, this is the content of today's session. So in today's session, we'll be discussing and we'll be knowing an interesting fact that, do you know which is a software which runs for the first time when you switch on or turn on your system? Yeah, so just wait for the answer in the upcoming slides. You'll get to know that. All right, so let's start with the session. Software. So software is required, like software is used almost everywhere today, correct? So now it's our duty to understand, yes, what is a software? So yes, we have a software which is nothing but set of instructions. Okay, set of instructions is referred as software. So yes, our parents will be giving some instructions for you people, correct? So like yes, please complete this work, please have your food, all these things in this manner. So that's how even we have to give that instruction to the computer. Okay, only then the computer can work efficiently, right? So we already know that computer doesn't has the intelligence to think. It just follows the instructions provided to it. So who will provide the instruction? We humans will provide the instructions to the computer in a form of a software or the set of instructions, right? So yeah, we did understood what is the software. Now, why the software is required? Yes, I do know it is used in almost everything, but yes, exactly why is it required? So we know, right? Along with a computer system, in the sense we'll be having monitor, input output devices. So yes, in order to make this hardware devices useful and operational, we need a software. Okay, and yes, we can also say the software forms an interface between the user as well as the hardware. So we can say that's a hardware. All right. So over here we can say software forms an interface between the user as well as the hardware. Okay, and we can also say by using the software we can make the set or the computer system complete, effective and efficient. So that's what we can ensure hardware functional. Yeah, it functions effectively and efficiently. So that's it. Up next, yeah, over there, let's understand what are the different types of software. So yes, we have three different types of software. The first one is the system software. So yes, the system software manages complete hardware as well as the software. We can say the system software is like a manager of our computer system. Yeah, so let's consider and see what are the examples of the system software. Yeah, so we can see the examples like Windows, Linux, as well as the device drivers. So these are the basic examples. So yeah, we have that over here. Windows, yeah, and the Linux. So these are the different icons which we can see. Like yes, if we see Windows, if we say Windows, we'll get this icon in our mind, right? So similarly, so if we say Windows, we'll get this icon in our mind. Similarly, if we say Linux, we'll be getting this penguin because it's an icon of penguin, right? So yes, let's understand the next type of software. That's a application software. So yes, this application software is completely designed for the end users. Yeah, so we can say that this is a application specific task, or we can say it is used or utilized for specific applications only. So we can correlate this application software with our apps. We use apps in our mobile phones, right? So yes, those apps will come under this application software. So we have the examples like Word, web browsers, that's Microsoft Word, web browsers and accounting softwares. So even you can have a look over here. We have a Word, then the web browsers. So yes, these are the examples of our application software. All right. Up next, let's identify the third type of software, that's programming tools. So yes, as the name itself implies, it forms as a tool set for for a software operator or a software developer. Okay, so the examples of this programming tools, it can be like code editors or compilers, interpreters and all. So these are the three different types of softwares. So yeah, now let's understand each and every type in a descriptive way. Like what is system software? We know, right? System software, it acts as a manager for a complete system. The software that provides the basic functionality to operate a computer by interacting directly with all of its hardware. We can coin it as a system software. So now let's see what are the subdivisions under the system software. Yes, we have multiple subdivisions. The first one is the operating system. So yes, what is this operating system? Now, this operating system, it forms an interface between the user as well as the computer system. So yes, we can see operating system, it forms an interface between the computer and the user. Yeah. Up next, we have the second type of system software. So that's system utilities. So yes, before going to system utilities, let's coin some examples of operating systems. So we have the different examples like Windows, Linux, as well as the Mac, right? So these are the different software which we utilize in our day-to-day life, and we can term it as an example for this operating system. I had told you, right, we'll be discussing, like we'll be knowing which is the first software that loads into the computer when we turn on, right? So it's time to reveal that it's none other than operating system. So yes, operating system is the first software which loads into the computer system while it starts. Yeah, so that's operating system. So yes, up next, let's move with the system utilities. These are the software which are used for maintaining and configuring the computer devices. The examples for the system utilities, we can term it as we can consider the antivirus or the disk cleaners, which supports the system to maintain, right? So all these things comes under the system utilities, right? So up next, device drivers. The device drivers ensures the proper functioning of a particular device. So we can say it will be connected with a complete or a specific device. Okay, it is not general, for it is related to the particular device or a specific devices. So that's the device drivers. So the example for device drivers like printer driver or the plotter driver, so these drivers will come within that box. So if you buy that printer, like if you need that printer to be work properly or effectively, you need a printer driver. So along with that device printer, you'll be getting that software as well as, yeah. So that's the example for this device driver. All right, let's move forward and understand what is this programming tool. So that's a second type of our software. So yes, programming tools is required. As I told, it's, as the name itself implies, it forms a toolbox, tool set. There are few things which has to be considered in a very crucial way. Like yes, computers can only understand machine language, right? And but we humans can't give the information in that zeros and ones which can be machine understandable. So over there we need some tools. Yeah, so that's where we coin this programming tools, right? So the programming tools, under programming tools we have again different three subsets. So the first one under that is a classification of programming tools. So under that we'll be getting this low level language as well as the high level language. So yes, what does a low level language means? It means the assembly language or the machine language. Assembly language or the machine language. So what is assembly language? It means like even it is a low level language, but the information will not be there in terms of zeros and ones. Instead, the information will be there in the form of mnemonics. Yeah, coin this word, mnemonics. So yes, the information will be in the form of mnemonics. Mnemonics is nothing, it's just but the keywords. So instead of, let's consider, we have to say computer to move some information from this address to the next address. So at that time, instead of writing completely the letter, the word MOVE, we can directly write the keyword as MOV. So this forms a mnemonic for move. So in the similar way, we have different letters or the words which we consider it has a mnemonics. So the keywords is called as mnemonics. So this is under assembly language. Up next, let's consider machine language. So yes, obviously we have discussed this in our previous sessions. So what does a machine language means? Yes, obviously it is none other than zeros and ones. So yes, these are the different types of low level language. Now what about high level language? So yes, the high level language, it forms a basic words or the sentence what we write or say in English, like the words formed by using A to Z or numbers 0 to 9, or we can also use symbols. So yes, these are under the high level language, right? So now we did the specification, like yes, what is high level and what is low level. So this is very, very important, correct? First, we have to understand what is a low level language and what is a high level language. Only then we can go ahead and instruct the computer to make our task in an efficient way. So yes, this is under classification of programming language. Up next, yeah, the second type of programming language, that's language translators. So as you can observe, the name itself implies, yeah, there is a requirement. There is a requirement of conversion from high level to low level at the input end, and similarly low level to high level at the output end, correct? So we need that. But how is it possible? Yes, it's exactly possible by this translators. So let's understand what is language translators. So yes, over here, let's consider we have a code in high level language which is inputted by our input devices. So this we can also call it as source code. Yeah, so now the source code has to be inputted into the machine. So into the machine means this information has to be converted into the machine level language, right? So there comes the source code. We need a translator so that our source code gets converted into the object code, or we can also call as low level language. Yeah, so that's the importance of this language translators. Okay, so under translators we have multiple types. So let's know what are those. So yes, the first one is assembler. Okay, so assembler, what does it do? So yes, the input to the assembler will be the assembly language. It means like all the information will be in terms of mnemonics, correct? We had discussed this. The information will be in mnemonics. So yes, this mnemonics or the low level language has to be converted into the machine code, correct? So that's my output, the machine code. Next, the description. Yes, it converts mnemonics into binary instructions which are CPU specific. It converts into binary instructions. Great, right? So up next, we have the next type of language translator. That's nothing but compiler. So yes, the input to this compiler is a high level language, the language or the information which is fed by we users. Okay, and the output over here, even it is a machine code. So the compiler is used to convert the high level language into the machine code. So up next, what is that? So yes, the description of this compiler is, it is capable of converting the whole set of program at once into the machine code. Okay, so that's a main advantage of this compiler. So we are going with compilers. We have many multiple compilers nowadays. Okay, so we can say the compiler is more fastest. Okay, fastest of the language translators. Yeah, the next translator we do have is an interpreter. This converts the high level language. Okay, high level language. So how does it convert? It executes line by line. So yes, you can see it translates and executes one line at a time. So if you want to complete the whole process, it takes more time. Why? Because it will be completing the translation, that's line by line. One line, first line, then second line, third line, similarly the complete lines. So it takes more time, but the effectiveness is more. It gives a better result. Yeah, over here the compiler, this compiler will gives you a faster as well as the effective result. So if you see these three, which one do you prefer more? Obviously it's compiler, right? Why? Because over there in the compiler, whole code will be converted into machine code in just one, correct? All in one take. But others take some time, right? But interpreter takes more or longer time. So yeah, we can say compiler has the fastest language translator. So is this things clear? Up next, yeah, so that's a program development tools. So now we are heading what? the development tools. So under that we have the first one, that's text editor. This is used to write as well as save the source codes. Okay, so we can consider the example of notepads. Yes, have you seen the notepads on your systems? So it will be very similar to the Windows, but it doesn't have that instructions. But yes, you have this notepad and Vim as an example for the text editors. Next is a debugger. So yes, has a name says bugs. It bugs the errors from your code. So yes, I have written a set of instructions, but maybe due to some like typo error or maybe some deviations, I have missed some word or I have extra added some bits. So what happens at that time? My execution will won't work, correct? Because it has some gaps. So that gaps, or we call it as errors, can be efficiently picked or detected by this debugger. Okay, so that's debugger detects and helps fix errors. So the next programming tool what we have is a IDE, integrated development and environments. So next is a IDE, that's integrated development environment. This IDE supports both the editors, debuggers, interpreters, compilers, all in one interface. Yeah, so we call it as a environment. Okay, where all the things which are necessary to develop a code will be included in one step solution. Yeah, so it makes coding easier as well as more efficient. Correct, right? When we get all the required thing at the same software, then we can create the effective and efficient programs. Correct? So yes, the examples of this is Python, NetBeans. Okay, that's programming tools. Yeah, up next is a application software. So this is a third type of software. Okay, so yes, as the name itself says, application. So this is very specific to user. Okay, it performs specific functions for the users. So under this we have again the different types, that is a general purpose software, and one more is a customized software. As the name itself implies, a general purpose, it is developed for general level applications or for normal applications. Yeah, once it goes well with the general application, later it is extended to the larger audience. Yeah, so that they also can utilize the software. So that's the general purpose software. Yes, as the name itself implies, this software is developed in order to fulfill the needs of say some organization or some individual requirements. So it is customized according to the requirement. Yeah, so up next, yes, let's understand what is a proprietary software, what is a free source, and what is a open source software. So there's a difference, correct? So let's understand exactly what this is. Yeah, so the first one, freeware. Freeware, it is free to use, but the source code is not available for modification. So if you are using any of the software, would like to do some changes in it, so that modifications will not be supported by those. Why? Because it is just a freeware. Yeah, you can't change that. So that's like the source code cannot be modified, which is nothing but users can only run the software, but they can't edit it. Yeah, cannot edit. So the examples for these kind of softwares are Skype, Adobe Reader. Correct, right? Have you observed that Adobe Reader? It only helps you in opening the application and reading it, but it doesn't give you the rights to modify that file. Correct? So that's what the freeware software. Up next, let's see the next type, that's a proprietary software. This is a commercial software, okay, which is developed by some companies and it is sold by vendors who hold that copyright ownerships. Yeah, the copyright ownerships. So must purchase the license to use that. So can you coin an example for that? Yes, when you hear that, yes, you have to pay in order to use that software. The first thing you get is the antivirus, correct? So yes, it's a example, one of example of this proprietary software. And also we are having multiple examples like Tally, Quick Heal Soft, antivirus software, and all the stuff. Yeah, so the source code is hidden and modifications are also prohibited. So you have to note this point. Even here, you can't do that modifications. Yeah, so the source code will be hidden. This is the proprietary software. Up next, let's see what is open source software. So yes, open source software, so as the name itself says, it is free for modification, it is free for usage, it is free to complete users. So yes, that's a open source software. So it encourages collaborations, the learning and improvements by the user committees. The examples for this is, you can consider Linux, Python. Yeah, the software license type determines what users can or cannot do with the software. So these things will be mentioned priorly. So this is under open source software. You can also find the examples. Yes, the Python, even this is open source software, and the LibreOffice as well as the Linux. Yeah. All right. So this is with respect to the application software. Up next, let's learn what is operating system. Operating system, we can coin it as the resource manager that manages all the resources of your computer system. So that's nothing but operating system. You can have an examples of different operating systems. Yeah, Windows. So Windows is the like highly used operating system throughout the world. And next is the Mac OS. So what is Mac? We did discuss, right? Macintosh. The full form of Mac is Macintosh. Did anybody know this? Yes, this is a full form of Mac. So even it's a operating software which is used by Apple devices. Next is Linux. Yeah, so these are the different operating systems. Up next, let's identify the types of user interface. Now, we have to communicate with a system. As a user, it's my responsibility to make a connection or the interaction between my devices. Correct? So yes, how is it possible? In order to interact, we have multiple possibilities. So let's see what are those. The first one is a command-based interface. Command-based interface. Yeah, it requires users to provide commands to perform the task. Yeah. Next one is a graphical user interface. So as you can see, it's a graphical user interface. So over here, we have that example, the command-based interface. So next, for graphical user interface, what happens in this is, the users can interact through the icons or visual indicators. You can observe this. This is an example of GUI, that's graphical user interface. Yes, our computer systems or the mobile phones will use this GUIs. Up next is the touch-based interface. So nowadays, you have observed like almost all the devices, like it may be a mobile phone or it might be a laptops, all will have this touch-based interface, right? So the interaction or the user interacts through touching the inputs. Next one is a voice-based interaction. So you can observe that touch-based interaction over here. And next, voice-based. Yes, for voice-based interaction, we do have we can give multiple examples through which we can communicate with our device. So can you can you name one? So yes, it is nothing but the Alexa and the Google search, the voice command, right? So yeah, you can observe that. The voice-based interface will be commanding the device using our voice. Up next, you can see that, and that's our future technology. as well as the advanced technology right now, that's a gesture based interface. Yes, you can interact with the device using your gestures. Like, yeah, you can just observe this lady is clicking a picture using that gesture of hand, right? We do, right? So when we are in a group, then instead of clicking, we just hold the mobile phones and we'll be showing the palm, right? So that's a form of gesture which the device considered as an interface between we user and the device. So that's for gesture based interface. So these are the types of interface. So up next, let's understand what are the functions of operating system. These are the different types of the functionalities of operating system. The first one is a process management. As the name itself says, it is used to control different set of processes like management of multiple as well as process location of required resources and exchange of information. Yeah, memory management, it helps in considering the memory locations and allocations. So yes, memory management, allocate and take memory from the running process. Up next is the file management. It means like creating or updating, or else you can also delete the created file, and also protecting the files in secondary memory. So yes, this is with respect to file management which happens in the secondary memory. Up next, the device management. So yes, we'll be having a note, correct? So what are the devices we'll be utilizing and what is required for current project and all this stuff. So that's under this device management. The device management allocates and deallocates the device effectively. So these are the different set of functions of operating systems. Yeah. Up next, it's a conclusion for a complete chapter. So yeah, through this chapter, what we learned is by using computers will be having hardware and software, right? So yes, the computers, hardware and software has to go hand in hand in order to make a task efficient or in order to make that computer system work efficiently, right? So that's with respect to this point. And next, understanding these fundamentals is crucial for leveraging technology effectively. So this is the conclusion of this unit. We have completed the first PU Computer Science Chapter 1, that's Introduction of Computer Systems. So yes, thank you so much for continuously watching these videos. Like as I had already told, I had mentioned some amazing facts wherever it is required along with this complete unit. So yes, this unit will comes for complete 18 marks. So this unit is one of highly weighted chapter of your first PU Computer Science. So those who have not seen the last videos, just go ahead and watch it. And thank you.